You know, I thought several times, what is so unique in film? Words are better in the literature. Forms, light, shadow, colors are better in the painting. Acting is better having a good theater play written by Shakespeare, and emotions own are better in the music. What is unique in filmmaking? Because if you cannot find something unique, something original, then why to do it? But the audience love films. Why loves they films? And I came to the answer, the originality of a feature film. The speciality of the feature film is something what other art cannot show. This is a human face. One human face. Faces they can express ourselves. They can carry with a charismatic power, energy, and human emotions. I found a book about the cinema. It was written by a Hungarian man, Béla Balázs, and the book is so beautiful and so interesting that I decided to learn a tiny bit films. And I went to the film school. We had a marvelous period because this was the time of the French Nouvelle Vague. So when I was a student, we had films like François Truffaut, 400 coups, and Godard, À bout de souffle. So the filmmaking was just liberated, and we accepted, like everybody, that you can write with your camera. You can tell everything what you would like to tell. The first influence was Italy. Vittorio De Sica, with beautiful films like Bicycle Thief or Miracle in Milan. This was the greatest influence, you know. I learned from the Italian films and the French Nouvelle Vague also that you have to be personal. And if you can, you have to be honest. And of course, our major experience was history and politics. I'm a child of the Second World War, and when I went to the school, we had the Stalin area, which was really very hard and terrible. And then we had the revolutionary, 1956. So I had no an hour in my life without being influenced by a historical or political event. And I know nobody from my family or even from my neighborhood, they were not influenced by terrible political tragedies, lost people, lost families, emigrated people everywhere around myself. But now looking back, every film of mine is a story about this conflict, private life and history, politics, ideology.
Since 1970, on the National Theatre, which is called Burgtheater in Vienna, as a lifetime member, and before Mephisto I did here Romeo and Tartuffe and Petruchio and Taming of the Shrew, and of course the German classic like Don Carlos and Hamlet, of course, which is not a German classic, but it was in German language. It's many, many years ago. It was 1970 I made the first film, and the first film was a film for 20th Century Fox called The Salzburg Connection. I was very bored during the shooting time, and I thought, my God, I'm hanging here around and every day maybe 2 or 3 lines in front of a camera. What I'm doing here, I can play Molière and Shakespeare and everything. So it was not a good experience. So it took me 10 years to convince me again to do something in the films.
Hendrik Höfgen? Jetzt bist du der Anfänger.
79, I got a call from Budapest, from Istvan Stzabo, and he invited me to do this film with him after the novel from Klaus Mann.
And he asked me what is the subject, and I told him. And he asked me, yeah, but which role? And I said, the leading role, the actor. Don't hesitate, it's my role, he said. Of course, I said, and it's nice, but I have to do a camera test. And he said, yes, of course you can do a camera test if you want, but I'm sure that it's my role.
We have almost the same education. We have the same interests in our common history, in the Middle European history.
Middle Europe had the same experiences. Maybe the site was different, but the experience is the same. We had a common First War. We had a common revolutionary period. We have the common nationalistic and then later fascistic period. We had the common Second World War.
And we had this experience in many countries in Middle Europe, and that's the reason we spoke about it in films or in theater, our wish is to avoid that for the future. We can speak just about our area here. We cannot speak for the whole world. But if we speak about our area, so we can also include the whole world. But this is not a political statement, because if you want to make a political statement, then you should go to politics. It's a film and it's an entertainment. But even it's an entertainment, nobody is not allowed to educate people. It's maybe too pathetic to say we have a point of morale, but we have one.
Alles hier im Raum soll ausdrücken, von dem wir sprechen wollen. Dann erst haben wir das richtige Theater. Wir müssen den Arbeitern ein totales Theater zeigen. Ein Theater, das sie erschüttert und zum Glühen bringt.
We were very privileged because we could meet behind the Iron Curtain with a subject which is also a subject who could have been very dangerous for the government in that country we were shooting. So it was a very courageous enterprise.
Wir müssen die politische Verantwortung des Theaters unter Beweis stellen, und das ist ziemlich schwierig. Bevor wir uns revolutionär oder politisch geben, müssen wir erst einmal gut sein. Und damit fängt es an.
Because it was a co-production, Hungary, Germany and Austria, and the cast was a multilingual cast. So we had people from Poland and from Soviet Union, from England, from France, from Austria, Germany. And so we had a wonderful family.
Filmmaking is something very intimate, and you need people that you trust. I cannot work with people that I don't like. I am so naked, I am so open, I would like to be so honest shooting a film, and I try to behave myself like I behave at home. So I would like to have a team like a kind of family, and I'm only a member of this family. So I need people that I trust. That's all, and that's why I'm working since 20, I don't know how many years, with the same people that I like very much. I think they are my best friend, although privately we are never together.
Basically very soon bored with everything. So in films, if they are not really quite something in sense of entertainment and education, I got and I get bored. So I'm not a film freak.
Ein Schauspiel, das ist eine Maske.
But the energy of a feature film is the energy given by an actor. On the screen, you have a human face and a human eyes. And behind the human eyes are human emotions and human ideas. And they are emotions and idea of an actor. His life experience is coming through, you know. And if you have a charismatic face, a face full of energy, a face which can represent a part of the audience, they can seduce the audience and help them to understand themselves. Because we have the problem. We're sitting in an audience and we have the problem. And somebody with his energy liberate the problem in us.
Was wollen die von mir? Was wollen die? Ich bin doch nur Schauspieler.
Because, you know, the whole life experience and emotional experience of this human being called Humphrey Bogart or Glenn Close or Ray Fiennes or Klaus Maria Brandauer or Balint András, you know, is there and radiant. So I believe in actors.
Theater work is completely different from film work. For a film, you don't need really a trained actor. It's not necessary. If a man is able to be like he is in front of a camera, so real and so natural, then he can be a film actor. It's no problem. That's all. But for the theater, of course, you need really training and education and many, many different things.
If you are on a stage, you cannot represent a character like you represent yourself in the real life, because people are sitting on the first or the second row and people are sitting on the third balcony. So you have to find gesture, movements, you have to behave for everybody. So everything what you're doing can be very real, can be very emotional, can be very talented, but it must be symbolic. Acting on the screen or front of the camera needs something what few people have, a kind of honesty or the talent to forget your vanity. You have to show your naked face with your naked emotions, with a kind of energy to reach the people.
What we can do in our work, in our artistic work and values, is to speak about our devilish or devil-like corners of our existence. Because then we can maybe make our life then better if we speak about our failures.
Machen Sie weiter so, Mephistopheles.
To be accepted by a political regime and accept the circumstances or not. How to live in a country which has an ideology, a state ideology, which is terrible. What is the role of artists? What is the role of art? How to manage it? And what to do with the real values? Can you leave them and run away? Or it's your duty to save them, to keep them? So they are enormous questions.
Sag mal, bist du verrückt?
And even I would have lived at that time, I don't put my hand in a fire. That I would be today 100% sure that I would have done the right thing. I hope, but I don't know. And you know what I don't like are people today, they are 70 years later against dictators or Hitler or against murderers. That's very, very easy.
And the major question is, if an artist is guilty because he is corrupted by a political regime, is his art also guilty?
And we have so many films about that time that you cannot imagine. And all are against it. And all seem to make us believe they would have done the right thing. And I distrust, totally.
What is this old terrible thing given by the 20th century? What is this terrible life influenced by terrible ideologies? They wanted to show us a beautiful future, and in the name of their ideology, killing millions and millions, all of following something, stupidity. And what is the power of them that so many millions and millions follow them and even happy? So questions everywhere.
And it's not necessary to judge it today. It's just necessary to speak about it, to make it absolutely clear, and to understand that everybody, even the murderers, the killers at that time, are human beings. So our question is how it's coming that they are then animals without any conscience.
Das ist die Rolle ihres Lebens. Mephisto ist die Rolle ihres Lebens.
We are not in politics to win elections. We are in artistic valued work to tell stories. And if people come to us, that's fine. If there are 100, it's great. Millions, also very good. But the experience during shooting is not influenced by that. Our life later on maybe is a little bit better because we can, instead of 1 kilogram butter, we buy 2.
Mephisto came out in a moment, and it came really accidentally, in a moment when intellectual people understood they were only used by politics, and they have nothing to do with the real decision. But it had nothing to do with our acting or directing. You know, it was in the air and came together accidentally.
Istvan and I, we were consequently discussing some stories. And Colonel Redl and Hanussen was already in our mind as a possibility very soon after the opening night from Mephisto. Of course, before, we didn't know that will be a trilogy. We just had the wish to work together on our common subject, the last 100 years in Europe.
Because I believe deeply, and I believe until today, that our contemporary problems, really, until today, they are roots in the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. I think the Austrian-Hungarian Empire was very liberal, and everybody who had the talent could find a chance to go up or to find a career. But of course, only if this person accepted all the rules of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
He was trained and educated to be loyal, to listen to orders, and he tried to make the emperor or the people around the emperor happy. So this is a misguided life.
I think the major problem in his character is that he would like to be loyal, but the society is not loyal to him.
Or is that right that I'm loyal? If you just are a loyal person, then you make wrong things.
Ja, man schreibt über sie, ihre Treue sei unerschütterlich, sei sie auf Dankbarkeit beruht.
They were crazy communists, and then they realized that the communist ideology is not loyal.
Ich kann nicht verhindern, was sich da zusammenbraut. Was ich verteidigen wollte, existiert nicht.
So betrayal, betrayal, betrayal everywhere by politics. This was the experience, what we wanted to tell in the film.
I deeply believe that nobody is able to live without political carefulness and responsibility. Look, some people say, I don't like politics, I don't like to be involved. I'm totally against politics. This is a statement, a political statement, but a very dumb one. You know, because everything what we are doing, everything is in context to the society. And what is politic? Politic is the care about the society. So if you are talented, if you have the craft, if you are informed, then you should speak.
Ich habe die Unterlagen, dass der Thronfolger einen Militärputsch plant. Er will die Macht für sich allein. Er glaubt nicht eine Sekunde mehr an die alte Monarchie. Der Einzige, der an diesen ganzen Scheißdreck noch glaubt, ist der Kaiser. Ich hasse die Politik. Ich hasse die Politiker.
What Brandauer did fantastically when he said, I hate politics. I hate politicians, because he understood that they are only used. Politics is not to help. Politics is for power and only using people.
Der Thronfolger hat mich in seine Pläne einbezogen. Die Kugeln pfeifen mir um die Ohren.
Controversial, of course, because in Austria it was a kind of a very, very big traitor, and even today some people have the feeling he was guilty that we lost the First World War, which is of course ridiculous. But it was also a huge success, and we won a lot of prizes everywhere in the world, and it was fine. We were again very lucky.
Sagen Sie Rede. Sind Sie ein böser Mensch?
Kaiserliche Hoheit, ich versehe meinen Dienst.
Our whole life is a repetition. Ah, it's the first cry, and then you inhale, exhale. And you repeat until the last cry, maybe. So, now, please, girls and boys, we have to make our life colorful. And of course, it's better to make it colorful for the good of us and for the others.
Now, looking back, I see that all my films explaining something or telling something or try to tell something about the same problem. And the problem is how to find your daily feeling of security, how to be saved, how to try to express yourself, to express your talent. I'm not speaking about the filmmaker, I'm speaking about a medical doctor, a teacher, a peasant, a cook. How to create your own world if the circumstances are working against you.
Many people, especially the youngsters, they didn't know so many things about that time. And if you don't know, then you cannot avoid. I think people who have no past, they don't have a future. So let's speak about it.